to Success in English. Unit 1. Me, you, we. Lesson 4. Grammar. Past continuous tense. The objectives for this lesson are: 1. Students should be able to know how and when to use the past continuous tense. Objective 2. Students should be able to answer the grammar questions in the lesson. Contents. 1. How to identify the past continuous tense. 2. When to use the tense. 3. How to link sentences using when, while, and as. 4. Varied questions on the grammatical rule. Grammar. Past continuous. Our lesson for today is the past continuous tense. Can you answer the following question? 1. Do you know the tense of the underlined verbs? A. While Sally was reading her book, Sammy was doing his homework. B. Amy and Mary were walking in the street when it started to rain. All the underlined verbs are past continuous verbs. They consist of a verb in the past, was or were, plus a present participle. A verb that ends in ing. Remember that the choice of the verb to be depends on the subject. If the subject is he, she, it, or I, we use was. But if the subject is we, they, or you, we use were. The past continuous is used to describe an action in progress at a certain time in the past. Remember also that the focus is on the ongoing activity, not on the complete action, as in the past simple. You can look at the grammar reference for examples. Usually the past simple is associated with the past continuous. There are two sentences joined by words such as when, while, and as. In these sentences, there's a longer action that was continuous, which is the past continuous, and interrupted by another complete action, which is the past simple. It is also possible to have two past continuous verbs in the sentence if the two actions are happening at the same time. For example, while Anne was drawing, Tom was watching TV. When to use the tense? Use. Past continuous verb is used to express an action that was continuous at a certain time in the past. When there is a past continuous verb and a past simple verb, the longer action is the continuous, and it was interrupted by another complete action, which is the past simple. If the two actions are happening at the same time, there will be two past continuous verbs in the sentence. For example, while Anne was drawing, Tom was watching TV. Form. Past continuous verbs are formed by using the verb to be, such as was or were, plus present participle, which is the base verb, plus ing. How to link sentences using when, while, and as. Examples. Affirmative. I was watching TV yesterday when Rima came. Negative. She wasn't doing her homework when her father arrived home. Question. Were you still cooking when they arrived? Notice that words such as when, while, and as are used to link the two sentences into one sentence. Note that not all the verbs can be used in the continuous because they are state verbs such as know, understand, love, think, and believe. Questions. Were they sleeping when the earthquake happened? What were you doing when he called? Now try to answer the following questions. Varied questions on the grammatical rule. Fill the gaps with the right tense. 1. Where blank you blank when John met you? Where were you living when John met you? 2. While I blank a documentary on TV last night, I heard a strange noise outside the house. While I was watching a documentary on TV last night, I heard a strange noise outside the house. 3. It blank and I didn't want to go to work. It was raining and I didn't want to go to work. 4. She blank late in the office when the accident happened. She was working late in the office when the accident happened. 5. Omar was very angry because his brother blank his jacket. Omar was very angry because his brother was wearing his jacket. 6. Jolly blank dinner when Ali suddenly cut his finger. Jolly was having dinner when Ali suddenly cut his finger. The underlined verbs are wrong. Correct the mistakes in the following sentences. 1. While I was walking home, I was seeing a car crash. The correct form is, while I was walking home, I saw a car crash. 2. When he was crossing the street, he was dropping all my papers. The correct answer is, when he was crossing the street, he dropped all my papers. 3. Emily was talking to her children while they were watched TV. The correct form is, Emily was talking to her children while they were watching TV. 4. Alice was reading a novel when Jim was asking her to help him. Alice was reading a novel when Jim asked her to help him. Number 5. While she was driving her car back home, she hearing about the incident. While she was driving her car back home, she heard about the incident. Number 6. The kids were fighting when their mother was arriving. The correct form is, the kids were fighting when their mother arrived. Number 7. They looked at him and was seeing how sad he was. The correct form is, they looked at him and saw how sad he was. Number 8. I was knowing that Jack wasn't listening, but I didn't care. The correct form is, I knew that Jack was listening, but I didn't care. Number 9. Alia and Rand were visiting their grandmother when the hurricane was starting. The correct form is, Alia and Rand were visiting their grandmother when the hurricane started. Number 10. The teacher was read the lesson when I fell asleep. The correct form is, the teacher was reading the lesson when I fell asleep. Choose the best alternative. Number 1. I was watching TV when she blank. A, called, B, was calling, or C, calls. The answer is A, called. I was watching TV when she called. Number 2. When the phone rang, she blank a letter. Is it A, was reading, B, were reading, or C, reading? The answer is A, was reading. When the phone rang, she was reading a letter. Number 3. While we were having lunch out, it blank to rain. Was it A, began, B, begins, or C, was beginning? The answer is A, began. While we were having lunch out, it began to rain. Number 4. What were you doing when the match blank? A, starts, or B, started, Or C. Starting. What were you doing when the match started? Answer B. 5. I was listening to the radio, so I blank the doorbell. Is it A. Don't hear, B. Didn't heard, or C. Didn't hear? The answer is C. Didn't hear. I was listening to the radio, so I didn't hear the doorbell. 6. The teacher blank the students to stop talking while she was explaining the lesson. Is it A. Asked, B. Was asking, or C. Asking? The teacher asked the students to stop talking while she was explaining the lesson. Answer A. While Jimmy was working in the shop last week, someone blank his house. Is it A. Stole, B. Was stealing, or C. Stolen? The answer is A. Stole. While Jimmy was working in the shop last week, someone stole his house. Number 8. Sally blank to see her friend when we saw her. A. Was go, B. Going, or C. Was going? The answer is C. Sally was going to see her friend when we saw her. Number 9. While I was talking to her, she blank to me and went away. Do you think it's A. Smiled, B. Smiling, or C. Smiles? The answer is A. It's smiled. While I was talking to her, she smiled to me and went away. Number 10. I broke my arm while I blank the attic. Is it A. Was cleaning, B. Cleaned, or C. Cleaning? The answer is A. I broke my arm while I was cleaning the attic. Number 11. We were playing chess while our sister blank in her room. Is it A. Was studying, or B. Studied, or C. Were studying? We were playing chess while our sister was studying in her room. Answer A. Number 12. I immediately replied to your message when I blank it. A. Get, B. Was getting, or C. Got? The answer is C. I immediately replied to your message when I got it. Vocabulary. 1. Subject. Subject is a person or thing as being discussed, described, or dealt with. 2. Continuous. Continuous is ongoing or progressive.